Hello, welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the weekly reading for the sign of Cancer. Now, Cancer, you're up. This is going to be for February 1st to the 7th. And also, a quick announcement, I'm giving away another tarot deck. Yep, this is another oracle deck. It is the Island Time Wellness Company, which I found on Etsy, and their Love Oracle deck, which is really awesome. It's a very simple deck, but the messages in the deck are quite amazing and very, very sort of diverse messages in love. It's really lovely. And I'm going to be using this deck from now on in my readings and giving my Romance Angel deck a break, which it desperately needs. And so there you have it. If you want to see the unboxing for this deck, you can go in the description and check that out. If you want to have a link to the company, it's a small, female-owned, creator-owned company. I believe it's a single entrepreneur who's created this deck and produced this deck, and it's very nice indeed. I'm waiting for another deck that she is sending me that I'm going to be unboxing. I believe it's a different color. Some of the Love Oracle cards come in pink also, so it's really, really cute. So, in addition to that, I am also, I've set up a GoFundMe page. Please go to that link if you're interested. That's on your screen right now. It is a GoFundMe to raise funds for a 22 tarot and oracle deck massive unboxing review and giveaway. It's a list of 22 decks that I have selected. I guess I would say it's a curated list of decks that I think are really, really awesome, really nice, very high quality, very unique, certainly a high level of artistic merit. And there are some of them you may be familiar with, and some of them you may have never heard of, and some of them are quite expensive. So, in any case, if you are interested in donating, please go over to the GoFundMe page, Tarot Deck Giveaway, and go ahead and just, even if you just give a couple dollars or $1, that's fine. Whatever you have to give is great. And as soon as donations begin to come in, I will begin to start buying the decks off of that list. That is in addition to this Love Oracle deck. This deck I'm giving away in any case. And so, of course, all you have to do is be subscribed to my channel and leave me a comment letting me know that you are interested in the Love Oracle deck, okay? And that's it. That's all my announcements. Let's get right into pulling out your cards. And as usual, we're going to pull out 3 oracle messages for you. The first one is stabbed in the back. Wow. All right, so heartbreak, pain, separation. It's a tough one, right? And then we have Hand of Cards. Now, Hand of Cards is about taking a chance, a risk, being strategic perhaps, right? Maybe not showing your cards, keeping an ace in the pocket, being, maybe even a little cagey. It all depends on the messages that we see in the other cards. So, and then we have the Sword and the Rose. So this is, of course, talking about clarity, truth, revelation, solidarity. The Sword and the Rose is really about, coming together, and with understanding and truth, but also being like a force to be reckoned with as a couple, right? Together if you're in a union with someone, it's like you two against the world, right? But the Sword and the Rose also just indicates in general a lot of truth and clarity coming in and a lot of power and solidarity. All right, guys, let's get, before we do this, let's go ahead and get your animal spirits out. And of course, animal spirits can come in the form of personality types and traits of people that you may be dealing with this week. They can represent energies coming into your life that you may be able to tap into. Sometimes, depending on the animal spirit that is called upon, it is the animal spirit that is being advised for you to tap into because of a certain situation. For instance, if you are at a crossroads in your life, then and we see this the tarantula come up. You know, the tarantula animal spirit is what is called for. So it's like, you know, meditating on that animal spirit, meditating on the nature of that animal to help you get through a particular stage. And if it is, for instance, a crossroads, you would want to tap into tarantula energy, because the tarantula is very cautious and careful and very methodical and watchful. So that's just an example of how we use the animal spirits. Let's just see which ones are up for you this week, my lovely Cancer. We have the Phoenix. All right, so now is the time for you to sort of rise from the ashes and let go of the past. The Spider, Earth energy. Now, I did just mention the tarantula, but the tarantula is a fire elemental animal spirit and is very different from the spider. And your final animal spirit is the deer. All right, well, Cancer, the deer is more earth energy, and the deer is associated with motherhood, the feminine, strong feminine protective energy. It can indicate new motherhood, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a baby coming in. There's a different animal spirit for that, but it is certainly a feeling that you are about to be called upon to sort of nurture and protect something. But let's go ahead and review your animal spirits in turn. The Phoenix. The Phoenix is associated with the very first chakra, the root chakra. And the Phoenix is really associated with a time in your life where are you ready to sort of let go, right? When you're ready to let go. When you're ready to sort of let go of the suffering that you've been holding on to. Sometimes there come stages in our lives when we've been holding on to certain things in the past for so long that we're just done. We're done being angry about it. We're done holding on to it. We're done suffering over it. And it's at a time like this that we want to really sort of tap into the Phoenix animal spirit, because the Phoenix will give you strength. This animal spirit is the one that will give you strength to sort of understand that within all things there is a value. And from the death of the old, or the letting go, as it were, right? Allowing it to sort of die away. Not sort of burning bridges and still holding on to any kind of anger or trying to ignore it, but really truly letting that emotion associated with letting it just die away and go into ash, right? Basically, right? Die and burn into ash. And out of that really comes a new sense of freedom, you know, for you. You know, the Phoenix can also very much indicate a sense of freedom from karma, freedom from being associated with past events that have really felt like they were holding on to you. And certainly rising out of the ashes, of course, we associate that with the Phoenix, but the meaning of that is really rising into a whole new you that just no longer, you know, needs to be tethered to the past. Now, the spider animal is an earth animal spirit, and the spider is associated with Dharma. Now, Dharma is a way of life. It's a way of living your life where everything that you do, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you present yourself, the way that you discern situations or you make your judgments are all sort of attuned to your spiritual center or your religious center or your moral code, right? This is really living a life according to your sort of ethos, according to the way you believe life should be lived, right? And so not compromising that, right? Being very, very dedicated to that and committed to it. I had another reading earlier I did today. The Hierophant showed up, and the Hierophant and the spider are very similar in a lot of ways. Because with the Hierophant also we find this deep level of commitment to a higher purpose or a higher understanding, whatever that is. That's going to be personal for everyone, right? But being so committed to that understanding of life or that way of life or that spiritual path, whatever it is for you, this is what we call living a life of Dharma. And when you do that, all of the actions that you carry out, like the spider, form a pattern because they're always attuned to the same sort of focus. They're always attuned to the same sort of, I guess, rules, laws, regulations, whatever, principles that you adhere to. And so the spider weaves this very strong web with its actions throughout its life. The spider animal spirit provides a very strong sort of stable home life for itself and its family. It provides financial stability a lot of times because it is an earth element spirit, and spiritual stability because, of course, it is so committed to its belief, right? Its beliefs, its ethos, its moral standings. Very strong card for following, your heart and your spiritual center. The earth element of the deer, another earth element. And again, what I was saying earlier is the deer is the animal spirit that is associated with motherhood. Now, this does not necessarily always indicate a new baby is on the way, right? This can much more indicate that the element of a mother is needed. So it could be for anything, really. It could be for a new sort of creative project, a new endeavor, a new business, a new union or relationship. It can, of course, be a child, right? A new baby. But the lamb is the animal spirit for the child, for the baby. And so when we actually imagine, when actually there's an omen of a new child, a new life coming into your life, into your family, we would often see the lamb. Here we're talking about the need for protection, protecting something, nurturing something, right? Being very, very gentle, but very, very aware and alert and protective. And again, it could be for a child, but it could also be just something very important in your life that may be new or just coming into manifesting, and it needs a lot of protection before it can be completely shared with the world, right? So sometimes this could be like an invention or a creative endeavor as well. All right, guys, let's get right into your spread. Cancer, we're going to pull out 3 card spreads, 3 of them for you to see what your week is like. And these forecasts are intended to be for different cancers experiencing a different set of circumstances. So you may only resonate with a portion or one of these forecasts. And in any case, this is only one reading for one, portion of the collective cancers out there, but one reading of many, many readings out there. And so if none of this at all relates to you, that's fine. Just let it go. This reading just simply is not for you. Okay? And that's fine. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and pull out your forecast for this February 1st to 7th. Show me what's going on with Cancer. The Tower. Wow. The Star. Oof. And the Queen of Swords. Wow. Big changes coming in. Honesty, though, coming in. Certainly. The Tower moment is coming in for a lot of you. There's an event happening. Some of you are coming into this week on the heels of a Tower moment. You are still sort of reeling from the events, I want to say. And a Tower moment, a lot of us, we assume that everybody knows what a Tower moment is. It means different things for different people, but the Tower is really symbolic of sort of a set of ideas that we have built up in our heads, right, in our minds and in our hearts. A set of ideas about life, about the way life should be, or the way we believe life should be, the way things are, right, according to us. And a Tower moment is oftentimes a time when an event has happened, some kind of event, occurrence, meeting, something has happened in your life, has come in, and it almost oftentimes feels like it was divinely led. It oftentimes feels like it came out of nowhere. It was like the spirits have, sort of conspired to make this happen. This is why we often see a lightning bolt in the Tower card. But it's this feeling that, this has really come out of the blue, and it really shakes you up, Cancer. And so you're reeling from some kind of event like this right now. Something has happened in your life recently, I think, that's really sort of shaking your whole belief of yourself, maybe. really shaking your belief in perhaps people. It could even be the faith that you've had in some relationships that you believed were based on a certain amount of mutual understanding and honesty, and you realize out of this tower event or this divine moment that nothing could be further from the truth. In any case, a tower moment is really a shocking event because it's an event in our lives that really proves to us that we were absolutely wrong about something that we really, really believed we were right about, right? And so that's why it's always such a shocker. But it's a good thing, right? Because in any case, any kind of tower moment is ultimately for our progress, for our understanding and our wisdom. If life is teaching us a lesson that something we thought was one way, it just isn't that way, then that is a lesson that we want to learn, right? No matter how difficult it may be. So you're reeling from it, Cancer. You're still reeling from this shock that has come in. You're still digesting all of the information, and you come into a week with star energy, and the star really talks about you kind of getting right back on your right path. It can be that this tower moment needed to happen because for some of you Cancers, it could be that you were living a certain lifestyle, or you were in a certain environment, or perhaps even a certain social connection with, or union with someone. You were in some sort of stage in your life that was kind of veering off and away from your true desire and ambition. The star card reminds us that we all have a certain ambition for our lives, right? A certain desire for either the type of life we want to have or a certain goal we want to achieve at some point. But it is our overall desire for the type of life we want to live. And a lot of times throughout our lives, because of circumstances, a lot of times, or even excuses we make for ourselves, right, we find ourselves not quite on the path towards that. We find ourselves living a different kind of life, a life that we really didn't expect, a life that isn't getting us any closer to what we've always desired. And so when the star comes in, it really is a time to remind us that things need to change so that we can get right back on track, so that we can get back to following our star, our North Star, our true home, right? Our true north. And so this tower moment has come in a very blessed way for you, Cancer, recently. And this week is the week where you begin to have understanding about why this tower moment happened. And it's a really, really good thing. It's a really clarifying thing. I'm going to say for some of you, if you hear the background noise, that's my cat running all over the house. For some of you, it's Phoenix energy coming in because this week you're going to be feeling much more reborn. You're going to be feeling much more like you're actually ready to come out of the ashes. It could have been that up until this week you were still kind of in the fire of the tower moment, right? This week you begin to sort of come out of the ashes a bit more. You begin to understand why it happened. You begin to appreciate it more. And certainly with the star energy, you begin to sort of remind yourself and reevaluate your life and sort of reattune your life and focus towards the path that you had always intended to go. By the end of the week, you round off with Queen of Swords, and Queen of Swords is very much a case of you letting people know what's up. Queen of Swords is, she's the one who's really let go of a lot of masks. She's the one who's really kind of, she's gone through a lot. The Queen of Swords has gone through a lot. Queens are always about water. So here we have the water aspect of air. And so the queens are always all emotional and to some degree. And this has been a very emotional up and down ride for the Queen of Swords to get to where she's at. And where she's at is at a place where she no longer feels like she has to play a role. She will no longer be pressured into, pretending to be something that she's not, or pretending to be somebody else to, satisfy other people. All of these sort of pressures to be something that she isn't, she's conquered that. But that takes a long time and a lot of work. And you are resonating with this by the end of the week, Cancer, but a lot of this is the hard work that you're going through because on the heels of this tower moment. One of the lessons of this tower moment was you realizing that you cannot ignore who you really are anymore. And so I think some of you Cancers are really going to be telling people about themselves this week, and you're going to really be laying down the law, because that's some of the things that the Queen of Swords does too. She oftentimes cleans house when she's arrived. Six of Swords, Magician energy, and the Emperor. Some of you are coming into this week absolutely ready to move on. Move on in your power. A lot of Sword and Rose energy here. Move on in your power. Move away from a situation that you have really not been enjoying, that's been very, very difficult for you. Some of you are actually moving house or changing jobs. But you're certainly turning your back on a lot of strife that you've been going through, a lot of suffering, more Phoenix energy. And you come into this week and you are met with the Magician, right? So that's quite interesting, because the Magician is really on top of his game. And I want to say for a lot of you, this Magician energy is very much you, right? You're leaving, turning your back on a very difficult situation. And I think this week, you're kind of put into your own element again. You're like right back on top, I think. You're being given an opportunity to show off all your talent and skill. And that's what the Magician is about. The Magician is one of the highest cards for talent and ability, and knowing your abilities so that you really play to them. And so this is a real positive week for you. I think it's a real reaffirming week that you've made the right decision to leave a certain environment, because now you're kind of shining, you know. By the end of the week, though, you rounded off with an Emperor. And I want to say that the Emperor can certainly be somebody who's coming in and got their eye on you. I'm going to say this could be in the area of career as well, or business, right? Because you moved away from a situation that was really traumatic. Well, not so much traumatic, but a lot of strife and turmoil. And this situation you're in this week, on the heels of that, is really showcasing you in a different light. And this Emperor, I feel strongly like somebody in a higher position of authority. Of course, he's the Emperor, but somebody who can bring a certain amount of orderliness to your life or to your career path. You could indeed, Cancer, be an artist, and this could be someone who could bring a little bit more sort of stability to your art, you know, to give you a little bit of what you were running from over here, but not as much to make you run away again. I think over here you're probably running from an overly rigid, you know, system or environment. Suddenly this new guy comes in, and male, female, I just say that as a figure of speech, but this new person comes in, the Emperor, and they're willing to offer you the right kind of stability, I think. You've certainly caught their eye with your talent and your ability. This is going to be the last spread. 7 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands, and 9 of Wands. So some of you definitely, once again, I want to say this is really a week of thinking about your career and your life path. Again, some of you are coming in this week with 7 of Pentacles. And 7 of Pentacles is a real feeling of reevaluating everything that you've done to get to the stage that you're at now. Reevaluating your job, you know, all of the effort that you've been putting in and the rewards that you've gotten back. And really thinking to yourself, is this it? Is this really what I wanted? Is this really what I've put all my hard work into? Sometimes 7 of Pentacles can be the card for failure, or certainly feeling a little bit like a failure. And this is not to say that you are a failure, but certainly this feeling of reevaluating. Again, 7 is the number for wishes and dreams and hopes and aspirations, right? The star card is the 17. So with 7 of Pentacles, it's really this feeling of like, well, you know, I've been working towards these goals. I've been working towards these objectives, and I realize now that none of this is making me happy. You either may be feeling like the goals you have reached actually don't make you happy the way you thought, or you may be just feeling like, you know, I just never hit the bar high enough. You know, I just don't reach what I was expecting to reach, and it's just a lot of real level of dissatisfaction a lot of times. And so you're reevaluating this area in your life. Certainly it could be your career, business. And you come into this week with and you met with a 6 of Wands, and this is quite interesting. Generally, 6 of Wands is a real victory that comes in for us, right? When we're met, like when we have 6 of Wands energy in our lives. But it's interesting because this week, you come up against the 6 of Wands energy, and I really strongly feel like this is somebody else in your life who's having a victory. There's someone else in your life all of a sudden that you're seeing just exactly at a time where you're reevaluating what you've been doing. You see somebody else and they have this real victory, this real public victory in some area. And the thing with the Six of Wands is that it's a victory in something you feel really strongly and passionate about. It's an idealist victory. It's a victory of, I want to say, ideals. It's a victory of sort of vision, right? Because it's a Wands card. So, you know, it's like when you see somebody else having a victory moment like that, it's also like, you know, they're having a victory moment in an environment, a path perhaps, or what have you, or in an area that they love to begin with. So this is even a double victory. This is not just like, you know, a victory for like attending work the most times every month, you know, if you hate your job. You know what I'm saying? This is like a lot of times this could even be like an award. If you're doing, like an example, if you're doing humanitarian work, this will be an award for something in that field that you feel strongly about. And it really sort of makes you look back on your life, this person, because you know this person, this is happening in your social scene, and you round a week off with a 9 of Wands in a sense that you really feel like looking back, you're looking back in your life and saying, you know, wow, you know, how did I get, you know what I mean? How do I come out of where I'm at? And I think you really wake up and realize that you have been maybe holding on to some baggage, or maybe there's certain behavior patterns perhaps, or ideas about your life that perhaps earlier in your life they helped you and they protected you, and you were able to sort of, you know, these ideas or this baggage that you were perhaps carrying around with you, and for a short period of your life they may have helped you over a difficult time, right? But now you're realizing that you've held on to a certain way of acting or behaving, or a certain lifestyle, or a certain way of thinking about the world that's really begun to alienate you, right? And you're realizing with this person that you see having this victory, I'm going to say this is certainly someone that is in your field or that is around you that you know. I don't think you're jealous or envious of them. I mean, I think this is probably a very good friend. It's probably somebody who's inspiring you. Because right now, the way it's impacting you is for you to sort of really open up and realize, you know, maybe I'm unhappy with my career over here because I have really sort of alienated myself, and I really need to wake up to that. Perhaps I really need to now let go of some of the issues from my past. And again, Phoenix energy comes in. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. This is your weekly reading, February 1st to the 7th. It lasted a little bit longer than expected, and I do apologize for that. But my lovely Cancers, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, I'm giving away the Island Time Wellness Love Oracle deck for February. I want to try to give it away for Valentine's Day. So if you're interested, please make sure you're subscribed. Please make sure you leave me a comment and let me know that you're actually interested in the drawing, and then we will do just like I've done with the other 2 decks I gave away. I will announce the winner by video, so please make sure you're notified. Please make sure you've hit the bell if you're interested in the giveaway. And then when your name, you know, once you see the winner video, you'll need to email me with your details, right? So that I can reach out to you and we can exchange the information, and I can send you your deck. So far, I've given away 2 decks on my channel, and this will be the 3rd. And then, of course, go to the GoFundMe page if you want to donate to the big 22 deck unboxing, review, and giveaway series. That will be great, and that will get us started even quicker. Follow the links at the top of your screen if you want to get a private reading or answer to any of your questions. But for right now, Cancer, have a lovely, lovely first week of February, and I'll see you next week for your weekly. Bye-bye now.